that gauntlet. And I'm hoping defensively, and I think we are good enough defensively to help us in some of those games later on down the road in late in district play and in the playoffs with the defense.
The 5A divisional split, lots of people across the DFW, across the state, we're talking about that this year. Obviously, is a big deal, and lots of people, including myself, are saying that y'all are one of the biggest winners in that whole move. I mean, y'all have continuously been one of the smallest schools in the state in your class, and you're playing against teams, say, like Denton Ryan, that is probably twice your size enrollment-wise or close to it. And now you're kind of on a more even playing field. How much are you looking forward to a playoff run in 5A Division II versus a playoff run where you might have to play a team that has 1,000 more kids than you in the first round or whatever?
I think in the long term, in the long range, this is going to be good for us. Now, I don't know about, this year we got put in a region with Aledo and Ennis and Corsicana. And so it just worked out that way. But I think in the long run, it's going to help. I still think there's some things that number wise, really small 5A and small 6A teams, in my opinion, and I don't complain about it a bunch, but in the last 10 years have really gotten the short stick in the realignment.
Yeah.
And I think there needs to be some more changes in that, because really this split was for 300 kids. The top of 5A Division II is 1,900. The top of 5A Division I is 2,200. So we really did this for 300 kids. I still think there needs to be some changes. 5A has way too many 9-team districts, and that needs to be fixed. And 4A has a bunch of 4 and 5, 6-team districts.
Right.
So there needs to be some more balancing going on, in my opinion. But in the long term, it's definitely going to help us.
Before we get into a fun little game here that I'm going to debut, what's it like now for you having 2 NFL starters representing your program? I know Daryl Williams, unfortunately, blew his knee out against the Cowboys on Sunday. It looks like he's out for the year. But, with Josh Jackson now with the Packers, I mean, that's 2 guys that have been here within the past, 6, 7, 8 years that are representing at the NFL level. And they're both having, Josh Jackson played his first game the other night, but he was in there a lot. I mean, what's that mean to your program and to your community and your kids to see 2 guys from their own school playing in the NFL like that?
Well, it's a big deal for everybody, for our kids, for my kids. It's just for the little kids in town to see that. It gets kids excited about playing football. It helps kids get involved in football, and they're both great examples of what it's about too, because they're both good kids. They're not guys that get in trouble. They do things the right way, and so it's really a big thing for all of us. We're really proud of it. For such a small school, you go back to Dvorak, James, Daryl, and now Josh. That's a lot of professional football players in one school in a really pretty small amount of time, probably as much as anybody our size. So it's a really big deal for all of us. And I know everybody in town is proud of it.
Have you had a chance to talk to Daryl since?
I haven't talked to him since he got hurt this time. I did text him when he got hurt before, and I was really shocked that he played.
Right, because I remember hearing, I thought he was already out for the year.
He was going to miss at least several weeks, and then I turned the game on, and there he was, the first play, and I was excited to see him in there playing. But he got hit again on the side.
Yeah,
and but he'll be back, and he's a good player, and this is a contract year for him, but he's going to get paid, and he's going to be playing either there or somewhere else making his money. I know
for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Boedeker,
you threw. I meant to ask you about this earlier. I saw some new deal. You've coined it buy sell.
That's a working title. I don't really know what it's called yet.
Buy sell.
So the way I envision this working is, I throw out something and you either buy it or sell it, which basically means you either like it or you don't like it.
Did he warn you about this, Coach?
No, but I've seen this on another show.
It's something original. It's something original. I can't take credit for it, but I just trying to do something new this year.
Sure.
Asked the fun questions last year, and I've already done that with Coach Young, so I can't really do that again.
Well, before we get into that, let me kind of reset things, and we'll get into buy sell. Hey, if you just stumbled across this on Facebook, say, hey, what is this? We're the Denko Gridiron Show. We cover teams in the Denton County area and come to you live every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. We've got head coach Michael Young from the Lake Dallas Falcons on. Make sure you share the broadcast out, like our page, and you get notified of all the things we got going on here in the Denton area. And as always, post your comments and questions. We will try to answer them live on the air. With that, Boedeker, let's get into a little buy-sell.
Let's do it. And if you have any suggestions for a different title, then go ahead and let me know. But that's what I came up with.
Yeah, we'll get Kyle
on the
to
fly
chime in on
last
some
night.
too. There.
My first buy-sell for you, even though you already called me out for being a copycat here, but sweet tea.
Sell it.
Yes, I'm with you. Do you like tea at all?
I'm not a super tea fan, but I do like tea. I drink tea, and I really don't like sweet tea.
Hey, that's my guy right there. Now, granted, I'm a native Texan, and you're not, so I'm a little bit more of a pariah around here for not liking sweet tea. But I'm pretty much the only person I know that drinks unsweet tea, so it's good to know somebody else. The Ticket, Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket.
Bye.
Good deal. What's your favorite show?
I don't get a lot of time to listen to a lot of probably the real early morning show. I listen to maybe 10 or 15 minutes.
Right.
But
you don't sit there in your office and listen to it all
No,
day?
but I do listen to some of it, in the afternoon a little bit. And even on weekends, I get some of the highlight shows where they get the different things that come on. But I like all of it. It's a good show.
This new age of podcasts, you can always download the podcast and listen. But, you have a little bit of history with The Ticket. Not only has your radio crew won a couple of Homer Calls of the Year on Bad Radio, but you coached a member of the Ticket staff in David Mino. Now, what do you remember about David Mino, and what kind of player was he? And you can be honest. I hope he's watching this because I tagged him in a tweet.
Now, David didn't have a lot of catch, but we didn't throw the ball a lot then. When
was he? Who was all? What teams were?
He was here in the Chase Bain quarterback. So this is way back.
Okay.
And
that was right when I got in the area.
Chase played some quarterback at UNT. He started for quarterback at UNT against Alabama in a game one time when they had lost several quarterbacks. That's right.
I think I remember that.
And but we didn't throw the ball a lot. But David, I think David had one or two catches on the year. He was a good blocker.
Good blocker. Good. That's always a nice thing to say about a receiver.
Great parents. His parents were big on my quarterback club board.
Yeah.
Great people and a great kid.
Good. You happy to? Since you are a fan of The Ticket, is it pretty cool knowing somebody that works there and having a history with someone?
Yeah, it's nice. They don't ever say anything bad about us, and he still roots for Lake Dallas.
Yeah, he gives y'all some props on the air. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Next one, Friday Night Lights, the movie.
Oh, bye.
Okay, what about the book?
I'm not a real book reader. I have a hard time with the patience of doing that and kind of keeping up with it.
But that's one of the few books that I've read, and you have to trust me on this. I'm not a big book reader either. My wife gets on me all the time for this. She's a literature major. She hates that I'm not a reader, but I'm not. But that book is really phenomenal, and it truly, people always say, "Oh, the book's so much better than the movie." I'm always like, well, I'm not going to read the book. The movie's plenty good, but this one, they're both good. But I got to say, the book, you got to read the book though. Just trust me. What about professional wrestling?
Bye.
Is this a current thing, or is this when you were a kid?
When I was a kid. Yeah. I don't watch any of it now. When my kids were a lot smaller, I would turn it on for brief time just to kind of get them to watch it. It's
right.
They weren't ever really into it. But when I was a kid, I watched a lot of it. I went to several when I was a real young kid with my father and grandfather to watch Bulldog Bob Brown and some people wrestle. And so in growing up in Lake Dallas, with the Von Erichs, you have to be a wrestling
That's
fan.
what I was about to ask you. Obviously your community
deal.
Yeah, the Iron Claw. You have to be a wrestling fan.
Your community is big into wrestling because of the Von Erichs. Being from Kansas, were the Von Erichs watchable for you, or is that? I know it was a regional back then.
No, but I think when I moved back here was probably 78 or 79. So that was a little before the Von Erichs, or right when it was starting. So when I got here, that's kind of what was going on or starting then.
Okay. Who was your favorite Von Erich?
I like David. David was my favorite.
See, I'm not real familiar with him. I pretty much knew Kevin and Kerry. I don't really remember David. Was he one of their brothers?
He was kind of the older brother.
Okay.
I think he was the oldest. We have some pictures in one of our rooms at the school that has all of them when they were in high school.
Yeah, the last name was Atkinson back
Atkinson,
then. Yeah, that was the name. A couple of them played at UNT. I know Kevin did. I'm not sure.
I was always a little partial to Roddy Piper.
I know you were. You always talk about Roddy Piper.
The kilt. Boedeker has on a kilt right now. Y'all can't see it, but is that making you uncomfortable there, Coach Young?
Yeah, that's why I'm standing a little bit further away.
Next one. We talked about this a little bit before the show. I told you to hold it. Last Chance U.
I'm going to say sell, but I've watched it a little bit. I watched last season a little bit. I watched this season. I watched, I think, maybe 2 or 3 episodes. I didn't watch the whole thing. It's got some entertainment to it, but it's really, to me, a little over the top, and the language is a little bit
it's
too much.
Definitely a lot of language in those. Being a Kansas guy, born and bred in Kansas, I know you didn't play for any of those Jayhawk League schools, but you have to be familiar with it and know kind of what that's about. It seems like it's almost, Kansas doesn't have any professional sports, so I guess they're close to Kansas City, but it seems like it's a very well followed thing in that state, and just that JUCO football league.
Yeah, JUCO football and JUCO basketball both.
Uh-huh.
The JUCO basketball national championship takes place in Hutchinson every year, so both of them, football and basketball in that league, are very big. And now that Kansas League, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, changed the rule to how many out-of-state kids they can take in, has really taken off. So it's a big deal. Those communities they're behind them. It's not a big. Kansas City has the 2 professional teams, but really in the state, that's a big deal for everybody involved.
So since you have seen a few episodes of the most recent season at Independence, did you see the episode where he was trying to teach them how to do the "Who expect we expect" chant?
Yes, I did.
Okay, did you think that was as ridiculous as I did?
It was painful to watch.
Trying to teach kids how to chant. It was pretty odd. Do you ever have to do that with your kids?
No, I think it's best to let the kids teach you the chant. That works out a lot better. If you're having to teach the kids a chant, it's probably not a very good
not
chant.
Even teach the kids a chant, it's teach the kids how to do a chant.
Right.
It was the most mind-boggling TV I ever watched, but I was dying laughing the whole time. It was pretty funny. Moving on, enchiladas.
Bye.
All right, it's good. Now, what kind of enchiladas do you like?
I like chicken and sour cream.
That's a pretty good choice. Yeah, that's one of my favorites too. Where do you like to get your enchiladas?
I don't think I order those when I go out.
Do you make enchiladas?
We make enchiladas.
Okay.
We haven't made them a lot recently, but my wife and I have made those several times, and I do like enchiladas.
Okay. Do you make them with corn tortillas?
Corn tortillas, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. That's a pretty arduous process, isn't it?
No, we make it really simple.
Okay. Good. Fair enough. Thursday night football games. You have a few of those this year. Playing in that Frisco district, there's going to be a lot of those, I would think, just because of the shared stadiums. And what are your thoughts on Thursday night lights as opposed to playing on Fridays?
I buy some of that. They're I know for fans it's not very good, and probably even the players it's not quite the same. But for coaches, our schedule is a lot better for us.
Right.
So
you're selfish.
We're selfish.
Yeah, okay.
When I'm a little older, an easier Saturday, just because you get to break down everything, watch it with the kids Friday.
Uh-huh.
You get to get more sleep. On a Friday night after a game, we're lucky to go to bed by 1 or 2 o'clock. It's hard to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So to wake up at 6:30 and go to work, it's a lot easier on us old guys on Saturday.
I hear you. The kids probably like having an easier Saturday.
No, I think they kind of like it every once in a while.
Yeah.
Kids are kids. They still want to do some things and have some things that they like to do, and it gives them a little bit more time too.
Last one, I think. UNT football, and specifically your old player Keegan Brewer, who transferred there from Kansas and had to sit out last year and is now starting to show what he can do back here at home. Oh, definitely buy. It's really exciting. We watch it at home. My kids have gotten involved in watching them too. They like to, they had in Michigan Notre Dame on the other night, and my kids wanted to watch UNT. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I think's going on. I think the high school kids are getting involved with it.
I haven't got to go this year, but I plan on trying to go to a couple of games. I really enjoy going to them, and it's really nice having somebody like that right down the road that we can all go watch. And